happens here is that if you look at Trevor's back, I'm going to only talk about the back right now. From his rear heel all the way to his head, there should be a line. And that line should be a curve. And right now, if you watch it, his buttocks and shoulder, and that part is because of his size, I guess. You do the squatting position and try to pull the lower back out. Theoretically, in Taoism and in Tai Chi and in Chinese medicine, we believe that when this is pulled open, when this curve is reduced, we say that the kidneys here, and put your finger here, here. So don't move anymore. Now, what we want is the first move here, don't move yet. The first move here is starting from here, all the way to the rear foot, and starting from here like this, everything back there must be like a wall, rigid, don't move. So now, what you move is, when you do this here, you move these muscles here, then you move these muscles, move this. So this circle here, when I push, comes right down here. And don't let anything at the back move. Okay, so you pull this hard and let this rotate, rotate like this, rotate like this. But don't move the knee so that an S is created. And the back here, from here to the rear foot, that's a solid wall. So this is the first half of the move. And this here is, I don't know how to draw it, it's a screw here. And we have simply made this discovery here, this invention. Without this bar welded onto the screw here, if you only have one rod, you are not going to be able to put that screw in the floor. But now, this is the screw, but you have two horizontal bar here. You can go back again. The only flaw was this opened. No, just leave it there. Because you're turning this way, this can't turn with it. If it turns with it, everything goes out, right? So you stay here. Yeah, and the same thing. Go again. Yeah.
So more or less.
No, yeah, just stay there. Cave this in so that energy is directed back to the rear foot. If it goes sideways, it goes out, right? So open here more, like that. Yeah, it's pushing, and it does not move. Mm-hmm. So it has to power up, gradually goes to the rear foot, and I feel the impact.
Okay.
And that will, and whatever that causes is called the internal achievement. Otherwise, you're just externally manipulating this way, that way. You understand? So it's the same as a bullet, right? It's the same as a bullet. That everything's locked, there's only one little hole, and I don't care what happens. The locking is so strong. There's a curve here. And now this curve, let's say for me, does not exist, and I will it in my mind. So there is a curve here. And when I push on it here, I never imagine I'm just moving my hand on this curve. And when you do this, this is what we call copying the superficial form, an empty, flowery form. So what I do is I touch him here, and I only have one thing on my mind, is to go right through this place. But the place is totally locked. It's so strong, relax, so strong it wouldn't move. So I push hard on it. See, that push forces me to go further. But he still has a curve here. So image, either use a half pipe, like the skateboarder, or think of, when I was trained, the image that Hong told me to, and other students to follow, to keep in mind, was a train. Your hand is a train car, put it on the rail, and then use your body as an engine to push it. And it doesn't, and then imagine it's very hard to push, but the hand never goes off, comes off the rail. And so Yilu was compared to laying train tracks. And cannon fist. Mm-hmm. Just don't let this go out, okay? How come your knee is so shiny? How come your knee is so shiny?
Shiny?
There, we can see it right away. So most of us believe that your elbow probably is okay now, but in reality, your elbow is not okay. Your elbow is always too short. And that's the start of your problem. Too short meaning every time you move, you're naturally here. The elbow should always touch here. It should be here. And if it's here, the shoulder will start to move correctly. If your elbow is here, the shoulder is never right. You can't find that demarcation line. So in terms of the knee here, you see O? So this leg here is shaped round. And that's very important because the importance of this is whenever you are in contact with your opponent or just training your own body, all your movements are such that energy you create and your opponent creates will always hit a surface that will bypass, will never go through you. It's a cavity. It means in space, on the body, there are mysterious spots that once you find them, your body goes into a different dimension. So if you know how to manipulate your joints like this, then oncoming forces always bypass the center. It basically use a lay. If you follow the procedure, it's called 3 years, there is a small achievement. 7 years, there is a large achievement. Around 10 years, you should be a grandmaster. It does not take more than that. And the reason that this has never happened is normally 100% actually, because of what here, and I sometimes do this. Right? And you see sometimes I do this, I just drop a little bit because I'm guiding it. So if you guide it, and once that habit is trained, and that's it, how much is there? So if your elbow is in place, second part is the shoulder. So you don't do this anymore. Yeah. So like right now, whether it's because of, remember when we do this, it's very important not to ask why. Because everything in the universe is a chicken and egg. When you ask why, then you feel the distance between your two hands.
Right.
So this here is a movement.
Yeah, it's collapsing.
Okay? But this here is not. So once I'm here, let me open it. So this here is an opening. Okay? And this here is like from where your thumb, let's turn around. Okay? From where your thumb is to where your thumb is here. So if I lock the center, I expand like this. This is back to what we are talking about. If you realize that your technique does not work on everybody, it means you're not stretching. So you can go both ways, right? And you can examine yourself that way. And so go back to being gradual, proportional, stretch, and it will work. Okay. The back, then you stretch this open. You do a little bit of a stretching here, and then hold it in posture there. But the idea is to hold it so that you go into a relaxed, normal position, feeling. But most people will hold it and have a hard time holding it, and so you start tensing up. And that's what we don't want. We want you to be proportional. So everything has to be proportional in two ways. The first way is proportional to the move. So what is a seized qua? A seized qua is if you touch me here and touch me here, I can't move my knee without moving here. It's a seized qua. It's like this. That's totally seized. But now that does not move. Can you see I can move a little bit? Oh, yeah. And everybody can do that. You just don't know how to use it. So come here, I'll show you if you feel required to allow this to move. Right? So that's the qua open, so that you're not seized here. You don't jam up. So when you're caught here, see, look, I can move elsewhere. And this doesn't have to move. If you are jammed, you're just like that.